I see. These are the words of the gospel that particularly struck me as I read through this passage of the gospel. Now I see. That the words of all these readings today call us to look beyond simply the surface level of life, to see beyond, to see what God sees, beyond what we ourselves can see. I remember not too long ago I was visiting a friend, and he had on his living room wall one of these 3D art pieces of artwork. And I looked at it and I just saw nothing but squiggly lines and sort of blurry motions on this art piece. And my friend says, well, to be able to get the most out of it, you have to blur your vision and kind of look right through this piece of art. I tried that, I blurred my vision, I tried to look right through it, still just saw nothing but blurry lines. But then I turned my head just a bit and it sort of caught my eye from a glance that all of a sudden from this 3D art image just came from there the Starship Enterprise. I thought, wow, isn't that so cool? And it didn't surprise me that he had the Starship Enterprise in his living room because I knew this guy was a major trucker. But for the rest of that evening while I was visiting with my friend, I sat in the living room and I was facing towards that art piece and I would just glance up at it every once in a while. It's interesting, after my first encounter of that starship kind of beaming off that page to me, I never just saw the wavy, squiggly lines anymore, but every time I saw that picture, I saw the Enterprise just coming right off the page into the room. Well, the readings today call us to go beyond simply the surface level, just what we can see, just with the naked eye, but to go beyond, to see what God sees, to see God's ways working within. In the first reading, we see Samuel looking to find a king of the children of Jesse and going through the 7 sons of Jesse, seeking which one of these will be the next king of Israel. And he looked first at Eliab, which was the oldest of Jesse's sons. And Eliab was a tall, very good-looking, very handsome, very strong young man. And Samuel thought, this man will be the perfect king for Israel. Lots of people would want to follow this man. But God said to Samuel, you judge by outward appearances, I judge by the heart. And God led Samuel to look at David, the youngest, the scrawniest of the children of Jesse. And God said, this is my king. Anoint him as king. And we all know from the history of Israel that David became a great king. And from the Davidic line came Jesus, who was born of the house of David. In today's gospel, we see that the people of Palestine of Jesus' day saw this blind man, this man who was blind from birth, as just somebody who was a blight on their neighborhood, begging by the side of the road. He was a leech on their society, not having any gainful employment, but asking others to provide for him. And also they saw him as a sinner. It was thought that because of a person's sin or their ancestors' sin, this caused upon him this woundedness, this suffering, this sickness. But this man was something beyond what the people of the Palestine area saw, that Jesus saw much further beyond what could be seen on the surface level. Jesus saw how meaningful this man would be, and he would say that this would be a man through whom the glory of God would be shown, and that Jesus would truly be seen through this man as the Messiah. So he had tremendous worth, tremendous meaning beyond what could be seen at surface level. We ourselves are often like the people that we see in today's readings. We're like Samuel, who judged people by their outward appearances, judge someone who's strong or good-looking, handsome, beautiful, and we give them greater respect or greater honor. And maybe some people who we consider that have disabilities or challenges, we don't think that they have as much to contribute to society, and so sometimes put them down, very much as the people did of Jesus' day, putting down this blind man. We also fail to see beyond the surface when struggles, sufferings, loss comes our way. We live in a society that wants to cast out all kinds of pain and just medicate pain and suffering to make it go away. But God calls us to see beyond the surface level, to see how these crosses that we are being asked to carry can even strengthen us and draw us closer to God. I remember when I was a young kid that my brother and I used to complain because we had to walk a mile to go to school in the morning and a mile back on our way home. But our dad would say to us, well, when I was a kid, I had to walk 3 miles to school, there and back, uphill both ways. He said it made me stronger as a result of it. Well, I wrote in the recent Beacon magazine about a really important turning point in my life when my dad died. I was 18 years old and my dad was only 49. And my dad suffered from a very unexpected, a very tragic, a sudden major heart attack that he died within a matter of minutes. And that death of my dad just turned our whole family's life upside down. It was a tragedy for our family. And from the surface level, it just appeared to be a tragedy. But I see, looking back in retrospect, that God was doing tremendous things through that death of my dad. Because shortly after that time, I really started to pray to God from the depths of my heart, asking God the big questions. Do you really exist, God? Are you really there? Will you be there for us, to provide for us, to care for us as a family without a dad? And also I saw our family growing closer together after our dad's death. That as in the past we had come and seen each other and then just go our separate ways. But every time over those many years since my dad died, our members of our family would never say goodbye without giving each other a hug and saying I love you and saying a very, very firm goodbye from the heart. It's made us appreciate each other that much more and realize how fast our lives can pass. But we are called to see, recognize that the sufferings, the crosses, the pains that we are asked to bear have significance beyond the face value. Great saint of the early 20th century, Saint Therese of Lisieux, she said, "Let nothing be wasted of the sufferings that you bear, but offer all your sufferings to God for the salvation of souls." Let nothing of all that you suffer be wasted, but offer all these to God for the salvation of souls. So let us not despair when we are experiencing weakness, sufferings, crosses along the way. Let us believe that there's something meaningful beyond the surface level. Let us offer whatever we experience, even the trials, the crosses, offer them to God, that God can turn them into something beautiful that God can use for the salvation of souls.